everyone, welcome back to another attacker video. Today we'll be talking about how to attack the group on the bottom left corner. So the last move, black to side jump out. A more reasonable move is for black to be very consistent with his opening idea and expand Moyo. Instead, black makes the mistake of hopping out at f5. At first glance, it looks like this is okay because it saves the f3 stone and it's pretty big. But actually, this is usually a bad idea when your opponent already has a lot of stones surrounding you. It is not. It is very. It's a big decision to actually drag the stone out. Actually, is a mistake to actually drag it out when it's this early in the game when you have so many big places to play. So how can we as white punish black's hop out at f5? So I want you guys to think about it, and then when you come back, we'll talk about solutions. All right, welcome back. So at first glance, if we follow our principle one would just say, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna grab profits because attacking is all about getting profits. Well, first of all, congratulations because you have properly understood the principle one, attacking for profits, and I'm very proud if you actually tell me that you want to play the two space extension. This is an excellent move that generates security for our group at J3, and also it's the fact that we are stronger here makes this group having more worries. The only problem is black can now make use of the principles of invasion, that is to attach your opponent and actually get himself some sort of flexibility as well. So that's the only problem that I see right now with this move. So obviously I won't make a video 3 about the same principle that I talked about in video 1 and 2. Today we'll be talking about a very important principle in attacking. So, and that principle is actually to make your opponent as heavy as possible. The reason you want to make your opponent heavy is because they cannot easily make sacrifices. They cannot easily just play somewhere else, Tanuki, or all those awful things that your opponent can do. So our next move is to play g4. Black now is in an awkward situation. He has to connect pretty much at f4. If he plays something else, this is just too good for white, right? Not only the f5 stone for black is hurt, but also the f3 stone is killed. So if black played the jump, he needs to follow up by connecting here. And now, as we can see, all of a sudden, with this exchange, black's eye space is a lot more limited. Black attach here becomes a lot weaker. And also, it's very hard, and that's where you see the importance of the principle, is that it's very hard for black to sacrifice these guys. Say now, if white plays this one and black says, you know what, I don't want to run this group because I understand that, as I keep running this direction, white will follow me up on this direction, and then all of these becomes territory. So with that already big picture in mind, if black ever decides to not follow up at all, instead just follow up with a Tanuki, that's not possible because white now caps black inside, and the territory here is much bigger than if black did not try to escape here. And this is all thanks to our peeping stone. Let's just imagine without the peeping stone, right? Let's say this is actually the case. Well, at this point, black have all kinds of ways to stir up things for you. All kinds of awful stuff that you have to deal with. Things like this, either just making a ko. Black has a lot of fixed flexibility as well. So not only our peep takes away the flexibility, and then we attack, and also it's impossible for black to give up this group. So a very nice principle that we'll illustrate a couple times in this video. So if black follows up, white can think about using the principle again, This is slightly more complicated because now black has the way to avoid playing heavier shape, rather just getting a bamboo shape. So if you just follow principle one, that's more than enough. That is a perfect position for white to be in. As we have talked about, we are using our principle one, that is to attack for profits. Right? White is gaining tremendous profits on the left side, and therefore he's leading in the game. So that's the first example that illustrate you how important it is actually peep our opponent and making sure his group is very heavy. And when our opponent is heavy, it's very, very difficult for him to sacrifice, to tanuki, to turn away. None of those things. So we can focus on a target and then apply our principle one to get ourselves the profits. All right, so that's the first example. The second example we want to talk about is when white hops out at P7. So obviously the answer should be very, very simple. That is for us to peep here at Q7. So against this peep, white pretty much has to connect. And then we can see how we apply our principle one. So usually our principle one applies right after principle two, right? We make our opponent heavy. Now he has no way to turn to. He has no backdoor. He has no way to sacrifice. We can make use of our principle one. We're not necessarily trying to kill white. We're just trying to apply our principle one, getting profits for ourselves. But also in this particular situation, it is very difficult for white to actually escape because after this, if white extend out, black can make use of the corner. Sorry, black can first make use of the tiger's mouth. So white is in an awkward situation. If white fixes this cutting point, black can bully the corner, and then white's corner is in trouble. If white decides to protect the corner, then black can, since black played S5, black can play out like this, right? So there's, in this way, black can run out. If white tries to net, black is also able to just get himself out. So that's no problem. And that just means white is dead inside. So I think that's a pretty pleasant situation for black because everything here is killed. So we can see another example where we apply principle 2, making our opponent heavy, and then we apply principle 1 right after that, making sure we gain tremendous profits on the top side. And then that's just a typical great textbook way of you attacking something, right? Very nice pace, very nice shape for black, and then terrible, terrible situation for white to be in. All right, so these are two examples that I made up, basically to illustrate you the principles. So is this principle useful in a real game? Well, let's take a look at an example. This is a game between basically Ayo Sakata, who's the white player, and then Fujisawa, Hideyuki Fujisawa, who is playing as black. So as we can tell on the board, everything is settled except black has a group floating in the center. And also we have a white stone kind of also floating in the center. But it's white's turn to play. So how can white make use of the principles we talk about today to attack black, basically? If white follows up with this kind of attack, which looks most reasonable because it strengthens white, and also press black. The problem with this move is black can just hop down. And then we can see there's a lot of space already going on here. Black also has plenty of room. Let's say, for example, this happens. Black can kick her first, basically getting some eye space. And then he can just hop out. And black is very beautifully dancing in the center. Nothing white can do. So how can we make use of today's principle 1? Let's take a look at the actual game. White decides to peep, making our opponent heavy. Textbook way of making sure, of applying principle 2 pretty much. black has no choice but to follow up with the next move, which is to block here. Black obviously cannot allow white pierces through, and then principle to apply it once again. White decides to peep again. So at this point, if black just connects, white now is going to cap on top, and we can see all of a sudden, because of these beautiful exchanges, black feels very dead. Actually, black feels like just a lack of flexibility, lack of eye space. The entire group is a L shape, very heavy, and then white can pretty much attack the way he wants, right? White can attack on top, and gradually this is all becoming territory. um, the player the black player is Hideyuki Fujisawa, so obviously Hideyuki understands those principles, and he understands to not make his group heavy. In the actual game, he decided to push here. uh, White follows up with principle 1, right? We don't attack to kill, rather we attack. See, for example, if white rushes tactically, this is just not going to work. There's a ladder at g5, there's a ladder at c6. So when we attacker, it's very important for us to be very patient, understand the principles, and then follow those principles. And that's how we can become good attackers. Black follows up because he's scared of that cut, and then basically white hanes, black hanes back, white extends, black pushes, and white hanes, and then black hanes, and then finally white finishes the sequence by playing the c13. So as we can tell, by following the principle 2 and immediately following the principle 1, Aio Sakata was able to achieve a tremendous profits. This is like the principle 1 shining right there. Not only white gain tremendous value, but also this c13 is putting tremendous pressure onto the group that black has over here. Black, on the other hand, strengthened his group in the center, but it is very unclear what black can do with this influence because it's facing white stones over here. It's very hard for black to develop. So by tightly following the principles of attack, Aio Sakata was able to gain a tremendous lead in the early game with a textbook fashion. Alright, so this is it for today. Thank you very much for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. See you in the next video.